Luis, no matter what I say or do, you will never believe what I know to be true in my heart. That the life our love created, the baby that was taken away from me at birth, is Marty. He is our little boy. Luis, you know that I have tried to deny this. You know that I have tried to pretend that it was wishful thinking as a way of coping with the loss of my child, but it's neither. It's the truth. And as hard as this is, I have no choice but to accept it. But what I can't accept is that the man I love won't believe me.
Sheridan, I have tried, but
You won't.
I can't. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too. That's why I have to leave. I have to get away from you for a little while.
Please don't leave. Look, I know that we can work through this.
Can we, Luis? Can we really? You tell me, Luis. Can we really get through something as big as this?
We used to think that our love could get us through anything. And since there is no doubt that we still love each other,
it's
I don't
how
see why
we
can't
love
get through
each
this.
other, Luis. It's how. Look, our passion for each other has never been greater than it is right now. That's what's making this so hard. Because without faith or trust, passion alone just isn't enough. And this whole thing with Marty and your doubt that he is our son has made me realize that, except for passion, our love isn't as strong as we thought.
I need to say that. Because I think that our love is strong enough to get us through this thing with Marty.
Which brings me back to my original question. Do you love me enough to trust that I am right that Marty is our son?
Do you mind? Lopez Fitzgerald.
Luis, it's Ethan. Listen, Gwen and I need your help.
What for?
Well, we have a little situation over at Pilar's. Look, I don't know if you heard, but Gwen and I have been granted temporary custody of Jane.
I heard.
Well, we came over to get Jane, and Teresa has locked herself in her room, much in the same way that she did with little Ethan over at the mansion a little while back, and she's refusing to give Jane up.
And you tried talking to her?
Yeah, till I'm blue in the face. Luis, I was gonna call the police and have them come and force her to hand her over, but if they get involved, she'll probably get arrested, and I really don't want to go that route, and I was thinking, you being her brother and a police detective, that you could help us out with this.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's just, kind of in the middle of a difficult situation right now.
Wait a minute. Is that Ethan? Is Gwen with him? Is this about Jane?
Hold on. Ethan and Gwen went over to my mother's house to get custody of Jane, and Teresa won't let them take her.
You need to go over there and help them. I'll come with you.
What about us?
We'll talk about us later, but right now our friends and our family need you.
I need you. And I need for us to be okay.
Like I said, we'll talk about this later. I promise.
Ethan, Sheridan and I will be right over.
But after we talk, I can't promise anything.
Hey, thanks for coming.
I'm so glad you could be here too, of course.
I'm sorry to bother you with this, but if anybody can convince Teresa to give the baby up, I think it's you.
Well, I'll do my best.
Oh, Luis.
Huh.
Sheridan.
Yeah, just came to talk to Teresa.
Well, good luck, son. We've all tried and gotten nowhere.
And why would she listen to you?
Luis, please, not now, okay? Ethan, thank you for calling Luis instead of the police department.
I don't want to hurt Teresa. I just don't want this thing to get any worse than it already is.
Oh, you've been more than considerate to Teresa.
Yeah, all the good it's done, huh?
Gwen, I understand you're upset, and yours too, Ethan. I'm upset as well, but I'm not blind to why it's come to this. You know, Teresa sometimes can be her own worst enemy, just like she's doing now.
I mean, let's just hope that Luis can get through to her.
Gwen, I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do?
Honey, I wish. I wish. You know, all this trouble with Teresa, it's just never gonna end. The pain and the grief that bitch, she puts me through, you know, it just keeps piling up and piling up. And the thing is, as miserable as she's made me, I think that in some ways she's made things worse for Ethan.
How so?
She has pushed him to do things he never would do.
Like sue for temporary custody of Jane.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for him.
I'm sure it is. Ethan's not the kind of man who ever wants to hurt anyone.
Exactly. It's one of the reasons I love him, but Teresa, she plays on it and she tries to manipulate him. And I just wish that Ethan could see without a doubt that it's the right thing that we take Jane away from Teresa.
Well, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, to a certain extent he does, but I'd be kidding myself to deny that he's got reservations.
Ethan, I see how hard this is for you.
Sheridan, I hate taking Jane away from Teresa. The way she's been behaving lately, she's been vindictive, she has been cruel to Gwen. I honestly think that Jane's better off with us right now, at least for the time being.
I understand. But this has to be especially hard for you, since you're still in love with Teresa.
I told you that.
No one had to tell me. Ethan, when you and Teresa came to the hospital after I was buried alive, I could tell right then and there how true your love seemed, how deep and lasting it was. And even though you're with Gwen now, I know a part of you still loves Teresa. And I know this has to be tearing you apart, to be taking your daughter away from her.
Sheridan, it is. I don't like hurting her. But there's no denying that she has hurt Gwen. And me. Teresa's role in Sarah's death and stealing her embryo and tricking me into getting her pregnant with Jane? All of these things have led up to where we are right now.
Well, hopefully Luis can end this stalemate over Jane.
That's why I called him. But you know, I'm starting to think that no matter what happens now, it's just going to lead to more problems. And I wonder if this fighting is ever going to stop.
What is that supposed to mean?
Did you take my advice about Sheridan?
I tried, okay? There is just too much evidence that shows that Beth is Marty's mother. I cannot ignore the proof.
Not even for Sheridan, huh? You should accept what Sheridan believes, Luis, because you love her. And that should be reason enough. That should be more than enough.
Well, God help me. I wish it were, but it is not enough for me to ignore my instincts.
Well, I can't ignore my instincts as a mother either. There's no way I'm handing over my child to Ethan and Gwen.
Teresa, this is about the law here.
For you, Luis. Not for me. For me, it's about doing what my heart tells me. You may be willing to risk losing Sheridan, but I refuse to lose my daughter.
Well, Luis better get through to Teresa, because one way or another, we are taking Jane with us, Gwen.
Yeah, I knew she would try to pull some stunt like this, but for some reason you thought things would be different this time.
Yeah, I thought they would be.
I mean, why, really? Why? Because Teresa never does the right or fair thing. I mean, Teresa does what Teresa wants with no regard for anyone else.
Gwen, please don't take this the wrong way, but I mean, I can understand Teresa's reluctance.
Okay, you've got to be kidding me here, Sheridan. He's always defending her, and now you are too?
No, I'm just saying that I can understand how painful it is to have your child taken away.
Well, so do I. Have you forgotten that I lost 2 children because of Teresa, along with any chance of ever having a child of my own? So as for this pain over us having temporary custody of Jane, I understand that Teresa is hurting, I do. But this is all her fault. Because this is what you get when you steal people's embryos. This is what you get when you trick a married man into sleeping with you and getting you pregnant. This is what you get when you refile charges against that man's wife and refuse to drop them. So please spare me the whole, you know, I'm so sorry for Teresa. Teresa's in so much pain crap, because she's getting exactly what she deserves. And let's not forget that Jane is also Ethan's child. And Jane would have been my daughter if Teresa hadn't tried to rip apart our marriage yet again with yet another one of her crazy schemes. So am I sorry that Teresa's hurting? No, I am sorry that Teresa never learns from her mistakes.
Gwen, I'm so sorry. I can sympathize with both of you. This situation is beyond difficult.
Well, there would be no situation at all if it weren't for Teresa.
Thank you. Fleur, not every woman in your position would be so gracious.
Thank you.
De nada.
We appreciate it.
You look upset. Are you in the still? Are you in the over Marty's DNA test results?
Oh, Gwen, things have gone from bad to worse since you and I last spoke at the Blue Note. I mean, Luis won't even consider the possibility of Marty being our little boy.
Well, honey, you don't have any proof of this gut feeling you have.
I wish it were that simple. And the more Luis and I discuss this, the more I realize something about Luis, about the way he loves me, and something that he just can't change, and I can't ignore it any longer.
Wait, what are you talking about here?
I'm saying that there's a hole in the center where our deepest, most perfect love should be. A hole that only faith can fill, and for some reason, Luis is not willing to take that leap of faith.
What are you gonna do?
I have to leave Harmony.
Does Luis know?
I told him that I was gonna go away for a little while, but I changed my mind. I'm leaving Harmony and Luis tonight. For good.